Yeah, very good.
So, if you guys are ready, so okay. Go on.
Good morning. Today is 10th of March, 2025. My name is Dr. William Devlin. I have an earned doctorate, and I am also an ordained minister. I am the volunteer CEO of an organization entitled Widows and Orphans.info. That's widowsandorphans.info. And I am here in Nigeria to advocate for a death row inmate and a huge violation of human rights abuse. And his name is Sunday Jackson. And he has been on death row for the last 10 years, originally in Yola, now in Yobe. And myself and my colleague, Barrister Emmanuel Agebe from U.S. Nigeria Law Group, PLLC, we have come this week in order to advocate for the release of Sunday Jackson. We have a hashtag Sunday Jackson. And we understand that there are many others that are currently on death row, many other Christians that are on death row who have been charged for murder. But they, like Sunday Jackson, this is a situation of self-defense. Sunday Jackson was farming, a 20-year-old young farmer, Christian man, loves Jesus. He's there on his farm, his wife and two small children, and this Fulani Islamist comes and attacks him with a knife. Sunday Jackson is stabbed on the leg, and they ensue in a fight, and then Sunday Jackson then has the knife in his hand, and he kills his attacker. This was totally self-defense. Sunday Jackson was defending himself. Now, as of the Supreme Court mentioned or said their decree on the 7th of March 2025, that this young man who's already been on death row 10 years, will be hanged by the neck. This is a miscarriage of justice. This is a train wreck when it comes to human rights. This is now an international human rights abuse case. And we're here to issue a clarion call that we are advocating for the immediate release of Sunday Jackson. And we hope that the governor of Adamawa State will issue that clemency decree. And so there are many others that are in the same situation, that were defending themselves and by a Fulani Islamist, and a fight ensued. And as people now will see us here from the USA advocating for Sunday Jackson, we hope that other Nigerian NGOs, other Nigerian human rights leaders and advocates will then take up the charge and ask for the release of these other innocent people that have been sitting on death row for years. Imagine, and I'll conclude with this, imagine a young man minding his own business and then attacked by an attacker with a knife. And Sunday Jackson didn't know that was going to happen, so there's no premeditation here. And so as a result of this, he kills his attacker. And Sunday Jackson is the one that has been on death row for the last 10 years. And he's lost his wife. His two young children are ill. And Barrister Emmanuel Agebe and I have been caring for his two young children who are currently sick. So this man is totally innocent. We met with him on February 19th, 2021, there in the prison in Yola. And even then, in a punitive measure, they transferred him from Yola to Yobe, so perhaps because a white person from America could not go see him there in Yobe. But we're going to continue to advocate for the release and the clemency of Sunday Jackson. We encourage all of you to go to hashtag Sunday Jackson, who has now become an international cause. And we hope that as it rings throughout all of Nigeria, not just Nigeria, but the African continent, the US, Canada, Western Europe, that Sunday Jackson will be released. And this is a huge embarrassment for the Nigerian government, for the Nigerian Supreme Court, this massive human rights abuse. So that's our clarion call, and we hope that others will be released as well, as we hope that Sunday Jackson will be released.
All right, the final question. So, what do we now make of?
Yes, my name is Emmanuel Ogebe. I'm an international human rights lawyer with the U.S. Nigeria Law Group in Washington, D.C. And in February 2021, I had the unfortunate experience of visiting Mr. Sunday Jackson in prison in Yola. And why I say it's unfortunate is that he had been in prison for 7 years at that point and had just been sentenced to death. Now, the sad thing is, if you look at the judgment, you will find that there were only 3 witnesses in the case: the medical examiner, the police investigator, and Jackson himself. Only 3 witnesses, and it took 7 years for them to try him. And then after the trial, he was sentenced to death. Now, let me explain something. You cannot justify a murder sentence on somebody who did not wake up that morning and knowing that Fulani man. He did not know him. This is somebody who woke up that morning and did not take a weapon that he was going to attack somebody. He took his hoe to the farm to farm and was attacked by a knife-wielding individual. In the process of trying to defend himself and protect his life, that person sustained injury, he sustained injury, and the other person died. Now he's being sentenced to death for that. Let me make something abundantly clear. The Fulani Herdsman started to kill Sunday Jackson in 2015, and the Nigerian government is finishing the murder attempt that began 10 years ago. And this is wrong. This is another Fulani Herdsman casualty, except that this time around, the killer is the Nigerian government. We've gone from a situation where the Nigerian government cannot protect us from Fulani killer herdsmen to a point where the Nigerian government is now perpetrating, collaborating, and finishing the murder attempts on Nigerian citizens. And every person of decency should be upset about this situation. Now, the part that really aggravates me as a legal professional is 2 things. First, the Nigerian Constitution says that anybody who loses his life because another person was protecting his life or his property from his attack, that such a death is justified, is not a criminal offense. It says that in the Constitution. Now, Sunday Jackson was protecting his property, his farm, and he was protecting his life. And despite successfully complying with the provisions of the Constitution, he is now to be killed. What kind of justice is this? I think that this sends a terrible signal. People have said that in this country, cows are senior citizens and humans are lesser citizens. There's nothing that confirms this like this judgment. The fact that the cows already trampled upon his crops. He was already upset about it, and then the other man attacked and tried to kill him. Now, let me make the second point clear. Sunday Jackson was injured on his leg. I was going through the judgment yesterday, and the evidence adduced in court was that first he ran and was screaming for help, and nobody came to his help. And then finally the man caught up with him and stabbed him on the head and stabbed him on the leg before he now grabbed the knife back and stabbed the man. The High Court judge said the reason why it's not self-defense and why he should die is that he should have run away. But the man told you that he ran. He cried for help. Nobody helped him. So that was the first failure. He did not receive help in time of need. 2, he was injured in the leg. So how can he run? When he said he was injured, and the scars were shown in the court. and then you say he didn't run away, so he should be killed. How many of us know the legal requirement that you should run away? It is not, in fact, in the Constitution, it does not say that you have to run away. It says that if you take somebody's life because you're defending yourself, not because you are running away, that is not an offense. It's in our Constitution. So why I say this is a sad day for Nigeria is that Nigeria cannot protect its citizens from Fulani herdsmen. And Nigeria will punish you if you protect yourself from a Fulani herdsman. And it is now, I agree that, you know, Fulani are the true, cattle are the true senior citizens of Nigeria. We're in Nigeria now where we have a ministry for health that caters for human beings, and we now have a ministry for livestock that caters for Fulani cattle. So that should tell you where we as human beings stand in this society. And I'm not being facetious, but the fact is that there are more Nigerians on death row now for defending themselves against attackers than there are Fulani attackers on death row. And I will explain why. Yesterday I got a phone call from a royal father who told me that 5 of his sons, his subjects, were sentenced to death for defending themselves against an attack. I can assure you that there is no prison in Nigeria today where you will find 5 Fulanis who perpetrated massacres of hundreds and thousands of people who are on death row. And why do I say this? In Plateau State, in December 2003, during Christmas, over 300 people were slaughtered in Plateau State on that bloody Christmas. Only one person was arrested following the attacks, and it was an indigenous man who makes dengon. That's who the army went and arrested. They now arrested 1 or 2 Fulani chaps, and they said they were driving them to court, and the boys escaped. I mean, as a professional, this is just horrific to hear. I'll wrap up with this. In Plateau State, there was the Dogona Hawa massacre of 2010. 500 villagers were killed in 2 communities. I went to court personally to monitor those trials. At the end of the trial, there were over 15 Fulani boys who were captured. The blood of their victims was still on their shirts in the court. They admitted that, yes, they were the ones who attacked that village. And they were given 10 years imprisonment. They have served their time and they have been released. They have gone. So at the end of the day, this case is a travesty. It sends a message to Nigerians that your lives are worthless, that a Fulani herdsman can come and destroy you and go scot-free. And if you dare to stand up to them, you would be killed because you had the temerity to challenge the godfathers of your land. So those are my few comments. Yeah.